On June 7, 1979, President Jimmy Carter designated the month of June as a time to celebrate Black music in the United States. So in honor of that, I'm going to share with you 3 artists who had profound impact on my own life and development. They are the Supremes, Public Enemy, and Marvin Gaye. So it all begins as a young girl and Columbia House Records. Some of you may remember their ads in magazines advertising how you could buy 12 albums or CDs or cassettes for just 1 penny. Well, my family was receiving cassettes from Columbia House, and one month one of those cassettes was a compilation called Girl Groups that had all of these different girl groups from the 50s and the 60s, like the Shangri-Las, Martha and the Vandellas, the Ronettes. But the group that I fell in love with the most was the Supremes. And I would play that cassette in my room and sing along to the songs and practice the choreography, and I just wanted to get my hands on as much of their music as possible and learn as much about them as I could. That included reading Mary Wilson's autobiography, which told the story of how the Supremes came together back in Detroit, which then also told some of the story of Motown Records, which is a fascinating history, and I would encourage you to learn more about it. Fast forward a few years later, and I'm a teenager, and the Spike Lee movie Do the Right Thing came out, and I remember going to see that in the theaters, and right from the get-go, right from the opening credits with Public Enemy's Fight the Power, my brain, my mind was blown away. This Midwestern girl had never seen anything like that before, had never heard anything like that before, but it spoke to me on a very deep level. And so I knew that I needed to have that song in my music collection, which then led to getting the cassette of Public Enemy's Fear of a Black Planet, which I would listen to over and over, and again, my worldview was totally expanded by listening to that album, learning more about race relations in our country and justice, injustice, what that looks like for people, getting to more fully appreciate the history and legacy of civil rights in the United States. So in that vein, we go a few years beyond that, and I am exposed to Marvin Gaye's album, What's Going On. And that is such a beautiful album. Taking this, just the whole concept, being able to put to music, so beautifully put to music, the pain and the challenges and the struggles that people living in the cities of the 1970s, early 1970s, were experiencing in this country. And, you know, if you listen to it today, over 40 years later, you may be struck by how much things seem to be the same. So, with that, I think that a common thread through these three artists that were influential in my life is that music has the power to break down barriers, to be able to build connections and relationships, to be able to educate and raise awareness so that ultimately great transformation and change, needed change, can occur in the world.